fight, okay, they kind of left, they stormed off, they ended up coming back, fighting off camera. So apparently it was a real struggle. Like, how you following the internet? I just know that's my family. Like, I'm Jacob.
I said what I said.
Slow day. They slow day to wax on say you're putting fake news on gay.
I definitely will keep listening.
You call them gay? You can't call one nigga gay, not call everybody gay. You can't call one nigga gay, not call everybody gay.
What that mean?
Yeah, you know what's going on. You can't call one nigga gay if you're not talking about the gay niggas in your community, bro.
Yeah, you know what's going on, so I really don't. I don't know, I'm not about to go back and forth from that.
I'm not moving back and forth either.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Bro, you feel like you seem like you got there too. Like look at me sloppy. You said what?
I'm just swallowing.
No, bro, you feel like you seem like you got there too. Like look at me sloppy. You said what? We swallowed.
No, let's just pause, man. Let's go around the door. I'm going to we did. Let's talk about it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about it, bro. You just talk after the bro. It's cool. It's escalating quite pretty. Bro, it's right here. That's nigga, that's that's what, nigga, how big are you for a big PC?
Nah, you could have did that on there. You don't mind doing no.
I'm not online, bro. You just say this conversation that brought up.
Alright, see, you should have
broken up. Let's talk about PC. Hey, stop right now, bro. Hey, I want to go. This is how you talk.
Niggas on the small way. What's so fun? Yo, that shit. Yo, look at it. They're about to go.
Maybe it's like somebody should go watch so they can kind of tell us what happened.
So look, they really went out there and had a squabble, and apparently when they came back, it was a little bit hard to tell who actually got the better of the other. Some people say Jay Hood had a fat ass knot on his head. All right, they're saying he had a bump on his head. He might got hit hard. People saying clear angle right there. The strap's feet him 100% knotted. All right, seems to be. Had a fat ass knot on his head. All right, they're saying he had a bump on his head. He might got hit hard. People saying clear angle right there. The trap defeated him 100% knotted. All right. Seems to me a fight more was tied than anything, but who knows? That's definitely a knot on his head though. They're saying that's what I was thinking. Quick fade in conversation. They clearly tagged each other. They literally walked back together. Just damn. Why whack agents always having a knot? Ray J got a knot on his head the other day too. Said, I was the only one who noticed. I was convinced they didn't fight it after 10 minutes. J Hood was knotted up, had a different energy. He looked hurt. He was missing his glasses. He came back. He was on a bit more of a quiet energy. Some people said J Hood showed up and showed out. So it's kind of hard to tell. Kind of hard to tell exactly what happened. People don't know what happened, right? Spotty was kind of quiet. J Hood was a bit more talkative. But basically, the later part. But basically, people said Jacob's energy completely changed up when Hefe called in, right? So this said Hefe called in from the Fed to check Jacob's temperature, and he did his whack. He was saying, I think Hefe would have put J-Hood on his pockets. I ain't never said nothing about you, fool. I'm the only nigga who ain't never said nothing about you, but you got my number, fool. I'm the only nigga who covers your case, nigga. I'm the only nigga who ain't said nothing about your case.
Yeah, cause motherfuckers don't, man. Niggas don't.
I'm the only one that you took me to the room, you know? So NFA kind of make himself a little bit silly here, because he's talking about, yeah, you're talking about me, Jay, talking about, I ain't seen Jay Hood mention NFA's case, but if he did, I didn't see it, right? Jay Hood fresh home talking about himself and what he got going on. But you're a little
motherfucker trying to report with that scaled Komodo dragon snakes and motherfucker whack talking about.
This call is being recorded.
Oh, this is whack bad shit. Hey, bro, you got my number,
bro.
Hey, you got my number, fool. I ain't gonna do all that. You got my number, fool.
Do all what?
I ain't gonna do all that. You talking like you trying to ask me a question. You can just get at me directly. I can do that all for the chat. You really know me, fool. I already know you know the family, you know my peoples. I'm not gonna argue with you over something that
that I have not done, so that's not what I can do. You know, that's not my program. You know, Junior.
You're different though.
That's what you're different, and I clarified it already, but I ain't explained myself, though. I clarified it already, though, too. It's not true.
No.
I'm in it there. I'm in there respectfully. But like I said, nigga, keep me there respectfully.
That's a no.
I'm telling me, man, you out there, man, go back to work, man.
Me, I ain't gonna react. I'm just reacting to the shit that people putting out there about the case and everything. But man, the taco truck narrative out there, I'm sure you heard about that shit.
What I do?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit for a fight.
What? He was playing in that spray, spraying it on his leg because I left it in the bed when I put it in her hair. I'm sorry.
Everybody's getting complete information about it, right? Sounds like
what you need me to do, baby?
A little bit, send Wex running these plays, Wex putting some of this information on my name. So they look like, well, they know nothing.
Yeah, they gonna have their own room because you can't put your shit up. So just have your own room. Get your shit everywhere, and he not allowed in there because I can't make sure he don't touch nothing.
So people saying maybe Wex gonna set the play. Here's 100% people out of the
As soon as I look away, he gonna play.
Really, Spotty was kind of sure about Wex, but realized Gray looked really front line for Wex, and then it popped off. If he didn't know that, maybe
y'all can sit down. You causing problems.
Dabble Medicaid.
Shut up.
You may qualify for a free iPhone or Samsung, plus up to 10 gigabytes of data. Apply online in just a minute. We'll ship it to you for free. Phone card limited. So visit tapmobile.com to check your
No, don't hurt your sister. Come here. Lay down. Watch Super Wild.
yes, you can earn
No, Super Wild.
If you qualify, you get $6 scholarship to cover any out-of-pocket expenses, plus you get a free laptop.
How does that work?
So it's not like your regular college or traditional person. Basically, you have Maestro, your AI tutor that teaches you at your own pace with your own learning styles.
Sounds super cool. How do I apply?
So just go to maestro.org, go click the link below.
I won't know. Don't think you gonna continuously popping about whacking for the J Hood. You might get your shit wrong.
Oh shit.
That's nephew. He love me for real.
Yeah, he's committed to not saying anything negative about you.
So what? I don't think that's proof that he knew J Hood would attack him. But maybe somebody should have caught up with this and said, yo, when J Hood's in the office, y'all need to just not this way. It's going to be a problem, right? He was saying, Adam set you up, Sporty Face, weaponized ignorance. Adam plays these guys' face. The company they set up, Sporty Face. Sporty Face asked for that fade. Sporty Face set himself, but he said he wanted that fade. So look, right? J Hood is really shaking things up over on No Jumper. Recently did an interview. So let's just dig into a little bit of backstory, okay? So he actually read Stevenson Village Crypt. And he talks about where he grew up in his solo No Jumper. Not solo, but so his headline No Jumper interview with Munchkin Adam.
Caution is literally the rock here, it's like you can stand on one side of the street and be in Compton and be on the other side of Cornish where I grew up. I grew up in the village. So we don't two good ones in person. Okay. Us and us and East Coast. Okay. And we go to the same schools and we like choose like different sides, like kind of like 8th grade, high school, out there. It's really cool, you know. I was shot at the gang of times, though, you know, and I'm doing the field. Cause I live in Long Beach for a while, and man, yeah, just tossing balls, like kind of the main thing that people might know about. So I know, yeah, it's crazy stuff. Yeah, so you know, and now outside, right now coming out of this, I was catching stone inside the ball.
Well, they get cracking over there in Carlson, man. Stevenson Village Crypt, alright, rocking the blue. You kind of know what he's on now. So I learned a lot of crypts are beating each other, okay? Spotty Face, he rolled 40, right? Rolled 40 crypt. Munch your blood. Then they all got different mindsets over that. His crypts don't get all the crypts. Now, he went to prison for a 2015 shooting that ran in politics and stuff. Like, his channel, and I'll show you a little bit of backstory about the shooting.
Yeah, like I said, December 4th, 2015. Now, Stevenson Village is known to be cool with the gangster clips. And this is where J Hood finds himself in the shotgun in Gardena on the night of September 4th, 2015. Now, it's over here by 121st. In these apartments back there, I believe in like one of the alleyways, by the Gardena apartments, where is J Hood, two other unidentified dudes, and somebody named Lawrence Weddle. Now, Lawrence Weddle is bullied from Insane Prison out in Long Beach. Again, another trade-in. So the gangsters is all over here in the shotgun. These are all allied sets. And it says that an altercation breaks out between Bullet and three other gang members, where it started off as a verbal altercation and moved to a physical altercation, and resulted in Bullet from Insane being shot multiple times in the chest and in the abdomen. Now, overall, Bullet sustained 7 gunshot wounds over here in the shotguns. And that's what you see, there's a rift of entry and exit wounds on his body. And this is what J Hood is sent down for. So it said that he let off 15 rounds, but again, Bullet being hit 7 times over here. And of course, with the release date, the murder charge got dropped down to a voluntary manslaughter charge, which he pled to May of 2022. So you know that.
So we come on it. Straight up, gruesome body, straight down to manslaughter.
The whole 7 years of voluntary manslaughter span, he sat in the county and racked up almost a year of good time, which is why we see him eligible for parole less than 3 years after he hit the kid. Now, Bullet was a reputable member from Insane. And you know, I don't know if J Hood didn't really speak on the situation because there was some shit that involved the gangsters, but this situation led into his next problem and what really made him such a controversial person on the internet, with him being on the SNY yard. So he tells a story about being dirty politics, though. And again, you know, these are some of the hardest things to get down, especially with some shit behind the walls. You know, the paperwork is extremely necessary, but what he spoke on was that he was initially being told on by his homies. Now, I don't know if it was the other 2 dudes that were there that night with Bullet being killed in the shotguns, but the way he tried to put it was that niggas were saying his name and he had said their name or some shit like that, not necessarily implicate them, but basically said all he did was confirm that somebody was there who the police already knew was there. Now, look at him. Just saying the next thing about him. That $10 get $20 in dump.
This settlement check completely changed my life, and it came from a car accident I almost forgot about. I never imagined something this big could come from an accident that felt so small at the time. You've been in any kind of vehicle accident in the past 2 years, even if you think it was minor, even if you were just a passenger, you might.
So this is but this report card is you getting a good grade, okay? During what you did, you unfortunately that lifestyle, going into that situation, you took believe in what you have to do, but it's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy that that's what we have going on. You just come home recently. Right, it's eligible for parole December 2025, so we fresh out. Now, Jay Lee would later break down the situation more detail on jump up and the election crime. You'd also be thinking, oh my God, let's look up.
Well, that big trip right now, too, is an old things. I got tools I can lie on, you know, but it is really good. People you know, and shut it. Yeah, no, really, that's what I really started feeling like. It's was bullshit, like that. I'm talking about this, what about the last 10 hits out of us? What about the 50 stabbing out of me? What about me being shot on camera and nobody going to kill me? What about me standing tall in the pain? What about, like, where's my due process?
You took the stand just to basically say I was defending myself. You didn't actually tell me, right? And nobody even really got me to the good. Nobody was accusing me of that. They just said, oh, a crook should never take stand for good.
Yeah, I have never felt like this. Nobody has ever been an hour in jail, taking a second in jail for anything I've ever said. Yeah,
So then he's saying that it's solid, right? That's what it says. 50 stabbers, bro. 50 stabbers. He stabbed 50 people in the pen. So during this time in the county jail, and he actually talked about one particular stabbing that was pretty famous. So I'll show you this in the previous video if we have the context for it. Right? This is plainly shanked up someone called Willie in West Boulevard Prison Jail. I was there, I was still on it. Yeah, that's why I said I ain't want to ask you. I was just going to
Get out the bathroom.
First of all, like that. Niggas don't work hard to see this jail. The niggas put a phone in their ass, niggas put knives in their ass, niggas put dope in their ass. Niggas in jail.
Oh, it's Jim. Now, that nigga wanted to get up there and lie, nigga. I was never on your because I was just on the that people phone.
And that shit is fake. Oh,
I was on your phone from the street top, nigga. On the bridge. On the Ironwood. No, on the Ironwood. Nigga, that's my boy. I'm our dinner. After I stabbed the nigga Bully from West Bush. Yeah, I'm just my nigga here. Jay, come on. So, what the fuck that man? Yeah, I got a broke good.
So you really talking about I stabbed him up? Allegedly, that's crazy, right? So according to some sources, they're saying J Hood actually went 50 stabbings up, never got stabbed against East Coast Crips, LA County Jail. This is what they say, okay? This is the post. It says J Hood from Stevenson Village Crip allegedly went 50-0 against East Coast Crips, LA County Jail. Now, is this a list of people he stabbed? Or is this a list of people he squabbled? Apparently that's some of the people he squabbled on his phone, right? I don't recognize any of his name off rip, but that's insane, right? But people saying that's just ECC members in 4, I'm sure he's scoring Pyroos, Bloods, and other Crips. They're saying he got squabbled with the ex-Superman. He mentioned on his YouTube that people got the best of him in the face. He's most likely cat. I'm saying he lost the majority, but maybe a good 3 to 5 phase he lost. They're saying he fought X-Ray for first, but fought by F-14, and he fought a Hitman 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that he's one of the Hitman's Q120 in a wheelchair. They're saying he fought the homeless for 7-6. Like, people hating on him, they're saying the rap was the paperwork. I ain't seen no paperwork. People talking about paperwork. I ain't seen no paperwork. Alright? So, he was just a menace. He was honestly a menace, okay? So, he was just released from prison a few months ago. He was fresh out, alright? This is him getting released. And he did 11 years for manslaughter, so confirmed body. He ain't beat it, but he got it cleaned down and he got back at it. It's crazy, really. 11 years ago, man. He's back. Right there. Back, baby. That's fire. Outside of the like that's good crazy. Still blows my mind 11 years ago was 2015. Solid year. That's actually insane. It is actually insane. It was a good year for music. Young Boy, Kendrick, Drake, Future. Free the Boy, County Jail, EC Destroyer. Saying Mr. 50-0. They said the EC's still hot about that, right? They're saying they're mad at him for like this something to go to a 50-50 yard. They're just mad he used the brain cell using it correctly. I've seen a lot of debate about this whole 50-50 yard thing. We ain't going to get into that in this video. But I'm saying shout out to Jay, he really got his mind right behind the walls, so keep it that way. Right? So people definitely thinking this guy is just a squabble machine. So he later actually squatted me from Munchie B, which is really interesting and positive. Munchie B had apparently been one of the people that actually was spreading the rumors that he was snitching, but they managed to get the interview from No Jumper and sit down and actually talk about it. He beefing with me, I beefing with you. You can't be mad at somebody for wrong with me to sit down. This would need to be happening instead of people out there chilling each other. 2 grown men need to be able to sit down and be like, hey, I'm wrong. I'm wrong for putting faking. I'm wrong for putting fake news out there. I'm wrong for saying that much of you got people that are putting his ass. I am wrong. I apologize. I was upset because a fake narrative out there, like I told on somebody. So I need to get information. So I put it out. I put it out there. Now that's you or whoever your team is, they first upload on that phone. And it got bomb situation. It took about 5 minutes. We thought about 5 minutes. Like, this nigga's a snitch. No, I ain't gonna put that out there, boy. So I ain't ready, man. But I ain't asking. Matter of fact, I'm finna ask this nigga baby dad. I'm finna ask this nigga little much. He went back, how much did you read it for?
They can easily earn extra cash. She just has to listen, so if she doesn't wear it, all with 0 fees.
I'm telling like, nigga, I deserve that type of grace, because I would give you that grace, bro. I would not put no snitch allegation on no nigga who have not seen no paperwork on. Period. Crip, blood, Asian, white boy, Jamaican,
I'm not putting no serious allegation because that is a serious allegation, especially in the state of California. Niggas get smoked behind that. In jail. In jail, 50-50 yard, man line, and niggas who get stabbed. It's like, bro, I done see people who do not tell. I done see niggas get stabbed over 115 total. I done see niggas come around here an hour, and then they got 30 hours to back. Look at all these niggas get stabbed, man. Niggas get killed, bro. And it's nothing about you.
Look, you know, a bunch of we sit down together off these sorts of allegations. It's pretty crazy. But here's the problem. Everybody gets made on payment. They feel like you're whack 100 punk. Now, because he's going to whack, right? I'm saying he went from a great edition to whack one episode crack. Now, I disagree. The things that whack over the same, but he genuinely, he got real life love for whack. They like family. They actually know each other. He actually, like, whack talking about he used to drive him to school. He really, like, whack's in real blood, but like, as far as the actual interaction with like whack been amongst him for years. Okay, that's just what it is, right? So, he was saying, let's not first period, let me talk about the gangbang on the scale. That's not really love it about that. He got anything, every single person that's done like whack. I know spot changing the business for everything, screen out, and to below, she looked crazy. He did at whack, but he didn't have the I don't know how to say that's whack at the moment, alright? He was saying he's a terrible picture. People are mad, people are hating. But really, he had that show up, right? But no disrespect to Spoty Face. I feel like this is everybody in that office over at Mojo Garden. Folks need to just try and keep it with the product, okay? Try and keep it with the product now. But you know, NJ, a business individual, you don't go for that sort of thing. So you got, you know what I'm saying? You got to be careful around this guy, man. You got, hey, look, the manslaughter, you don't need to get the brain. He's a real dangerous individual, okay? So we're going to see how this works out, right? David, I like his energy. You know, he did his crime, he took his time, he's outside, he's reformed, he's still squabbling, but like, I think he's really about to turn this podcast up. So I'm going to be very interested to see where this goes. Shout out to Jada, man, shout out to Spoty, no disrespect on the inside, but this was crazy viral. So let me know what you thought about that, guys. I will see you guys in the video. I'm going to pick up a couple more videos about my story down over the next few days. I'm actually exhausted, so I might take a little bit of break. But a little bit soon. But until then, you can see me. Okay. So, catch you in the next video, man. For now, peace.
What is your name? What's that house?
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Yes, now.
So I just did a video about some of the craziest scams of 2026, and I saw the comments. You guys really enjoyed that video, so I'm back with another video, and we're going to be breaking down a whole bunch of the craziest scams that are still going on this year, and some of these are going to surprise you. So the first one we're looking at, okay, is related to gasoline, right? So people are saying gas already expensive enough, but now hard scamming is.
In January of 2017, and I don't know if you remember this, but John Carpenter, you know, the director, composer, retired horror legend, logged onto Twitter to tell a bunch of neo-Nazis that they had completely misunderstood one of his cult classic films. That film was They Live. It's from 1988 and it's still an absolute banger. It's got Rowdy Roddy Piper, it's got a pair of sunglasses, a 6-minute fight in an alley, and the bubblegum line that you've definitely heard, even if you've never seen the film.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area.
Yes, it's a very subtle film, in the same way that a brick with Obey written on it thrown through your front window is a subtle brick. The aliens control television, they control advertising for police, they have collaborators everywhere, and because irony is apparently a finite resource, or we have strict-minded, parts of the far right looked at this ridiculous anti-Reagan satire and decided that the real message was anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Carpenter was, to say the least, not thrilled. He said that the film was about yuppies and about unrestrained capitalism, which is, to be fair, exactly what the film looks like. It is about, if you watch it with your eyes, say, oh, the misreading, to me, is revealing. They Live is a movie about waking up, like many movies of this sort. And the stories about waking up are really interesting because they're very easy to steal. It turns out you can wake up to capitalism, or you can wake up to propaganda, you can wake up to the fact that the world is built on exploitation, or more conveniently, you can wake up to the fantasy where all the blame belongs to some secret enemy, and all you have to do is defeat them, then problem. So that is the trap that many who view this film and many similar films keep falling into. And it's also why the film really still matters today. Yes, They Live is not disturbing because the aliens seem plausible, they frankly can't. That's the point. It's disturbing because the world around them still seems plausible. In fact, it is. The unemployment, the police violence, the media fault, the dinners, the expensive clothes, explaining, hey, everything is fine. The strange feeling that the system is rigged. No one quite agree on who picked it or why. So I want to take this fun, dumb, curious film seriously because I've not understood something in respectable films still managed to. That ideology is not only an opinion carried around in your head, it's also removing the public, the street you walk through, the billboard, perhaps the in-stock noticing becomes just staggering. And once we finally see it, we realise it's not about aliens or ideologies or their collaborators, but about what kind of person we become after we know.
Got something that needs to be blasted. It's called the right time. Did you see that? Oh, thought you had me. You're
A little help, please. Now, I disappear. Disappear!
can't keep me down for long.
I'm as flawless as they come,
And
darling.
that's how we do it in Tokyo. Almost there. Don't turn back now. Controlling me.
A little extra power.
It's spider time!
And Batman is leaving leftovers.
Hey, not yet.
And I'm so fucking answered. I'm so
So let me put the thesis up. In They Live, the aliens aren't the enemy, they're the joke. They're the joke that totally shaped my head. So I'm trying not to say going all the far right crowd, totally miss. No, And the yuppies are the real target of the film too. The ones who would be profiting, whether it's aliens or oil companies or whatever. And that's not a race, that's a type. The kind of person who wants to make bank no matter what the cost to everybody else. It's basically like Manosphere now and plenty of other places too. So chalk that one up to Bailey's continuing relevance. But if you haven't seen the film, here's a quick rundown. Ronnie Piper plays George Lana, a working man who arrives in Los Angeles, finds precarious work, construction site, and ends up sleeping rough in a shanty hut. And he stumbles into a stash of sunglasses that, when he puts them on, reveal that the world is being run by aliens, disguised as powerful officials and businessmen, that billboards become commands.
Time to switch
What's
things
your problem?
up, including which side you're on. The right heroes could make all the difference.
I said, what's your problem?
Money itself, looked through the glasses, reads as a single line, "This is your God." So Nada teams up with Frank, a fellow worker played by the wonderful Keith David. And what starts as a discovery becomes very much a war, a suicide mission. There is the 6-minute fight in the alley that I mentioned. There are explosions. There is a wrestler shooting aliens with an assault rifle. It is on every level, on every available surface, in every way, a B movie. But it's also one of the most honest films, effort to be made about what it feels like living inside an economic system that has stopped pretending to care whether you survive it. So let's break down this fun, dumb, and full of explosions movie into 4 parts. First, there's the world that Carpenter was satirizing, and the kind of person he turned into, an alien or alien adjacent. Second, there's the sunglasses, and the philosopher who has spent decades explaining what they mean. And third, there's why the film feels, to me, a little more disturbing now than it did in 1988. Then at the end, we'll come back to where we started, but perhaps a little changed.
Some people are natural heroes. I'm a natural joker.
So in 1988, John Carpenter was very tired. He had spent the decade making films that mostly didn't work or succeed commercially. There was The Thing, now widely considered one of the great horror movies of the century, but it had been a flop in 1982. There was Big Trouble in Little China that had failed in 86, and by 88, he kind of retreated from studio budgets to a 2-picture deal with a small outfit called Alive Films. He was trying to work cheap and fuss, and by his own account, he'd been watching a lot of television. Years later on Mark Maron's podcast, he described where They Live came from. He said the film was his rage at the Reagan Revolution, at the yuppies, at the greed of the 80s. He said he couldn't take it anymore. So that's the mood that the movie was made in. He was a working filmmaker paying attention, becoming increasingly furious about what he felt his country was becoming. And to understand what he was furious about, you need to know what the late 80s looked like from the bottom. President Ronald Reagan had been in office for nearly 8 years. He was coming to the end of his second term. The marginal tax rate on the highest earners had been cut from 70% down to 28%. Union membership had collapsed. Manufacturing had moved offshore. The wealth share held by the top 1% had begun the climb that it still hasn't stopped today. Homelessness in American cities had become, for the first time since the Great Depression, a really visible mass phenomenon. In Los Angeles specifically, where Carpenter was shooting, this had produced a particular geography. The historian Mike Davis would later write about it in his book City of Thoughts. He wrote about the mirror glass corporate towers that rose out of the homeless encampments that surrounded them, with these two worlds being separated by a freeway and only a city block or two. Carpenter filmed the shantytown in his movie at an actual homeless settlement in downtown LA. He hired the residents as extras, which means that the film's set wasn't really built, it was just already there. That is the world that Nada walks into at the opening day. The film's reality before the sunglasses arrive is just 1988, and the streets on which many were forced to live at the time. But Carpenter is not, and is never claimed to be, an anti-capitalist purist. In an interview in the year the film came out, he said something that I want to read in full because it complicates that kind of easy read. He said, quote, "I've made a lot of money in the film business the way it is run today, and I am a complete capitalist. I'm just advocating a little humanity in the world. In order to do that, you have to go strong in the other direction. Be a little outrageous." So that's what he did, especially in this film. That is the voice of someone inside the system who has benefited from it and who is angry about what it has stopped being. He isn't trying to bring down capitalism, he's trying to embarrass it. He wants to show what it looks like when everyone has agreed just to be numb or to stop looking at what that system is costing others, even if it is working, which is where the yuppies come in. Because if you're under 40, that word is already either mysterious or probably starting to feel faded. Yuppie. Young urban professional. The classic 80s figure. This is Wall Street, suspenders, the cell phone the size of a brick. It's Gordon Gekko in the movie Wall Street, released the year before they lived, by the way, saying greed is good into a microphone and really meaning it. That is the cartoon Yuppie, the one that a lot of us remember. But it is not the yuppie that Carpenter is mainly attacking. It comes out in what They Live does with its aliens and its collaborators. They're not in armor or as slavery monsters. They're just at a cocktail party. They're at a network television station. They're in expensive suits at a gala or at a news station or a chemist, drinking champagne, networking. One of them is on television defending family values. Another is a police officer. Another is a real estate developer. They're all perfectly groomed, perfectly polite, perfectly comfortable. They're the kind of people who are in your home if you have one. And they're also kind of in the minority, too, right, in the film. They're learning to blend in with the others, with the ones that make up the vast bulk of this class. And they already know they're infiltrated by aliens, and hey, they're fine with it. They're pretty happy with it, actually. This is great for business. Nana's potential love interest turned, again, spoiler alert, classic wrestler heel at the end of the film isn't an alien, but one of the collaborators too.
Frank! You're not Claire!
I'm Claire. Are you? Well, don't have fear, okay?
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
I'm here to finish the fight that my father began. I hope I make him proud.
Distributing makes it crazy easy for me to upload music wherever I am, whenever. I don't need to be at a studio, I don't need to be at a desk. My staff uploads everything. I can check right here on my phone. I'm going to laugh.
I just uploaded a song on DistroKid from the skate park. Just like that, my music is ready to stream on all platforms.
This is what's happening inside, bro. I can use DistroKid anywhere to get my music everywhere.
Never ever sue the driver who crashed into you after parts. There's a better way to get compensated that's faster, easier, and could get you way more money without spending years in court or paying expensive lawyers up front. If you've been in a car accident within the past year, even if you were just a passenger, what I'm about to share could save you months of hassle and put tens or even hundreds of thousands more in your pocket. Here's what most people do. They either accept whatever small check insurance sends them, or they hire a lawyer up front and prepare for a long, expensive legal battle. Both options leave you frustrated and underpaid. But some accident victims are discovering a completely different approach, one that could get them 6 or 7 figure settlements without ever suing anyone or stepping into a courtroom. It's called the 2025 Crash Connect Compensation Program, and it was created specifically to help accident victims get maximum compensation without the nightmare of lawsuits, upfront legal fees, or insurance company runarounds. They're currently looking for 10 more car accident victims to try the program at no cost and receive their full compensation quickly. Check in seconds if you qualify for the program by clicking the link around this video and find out if you could be owed a bigger check. Take Derek's experience. Everyone told him suing was his only option to get real money. His lawyer quoted him $8,000 up front, and
So she isn't an alien at all. She's just one of the profiteers. Not an instigator, but a collaborator. That is the figure that Carpenter is attacking in this film. The one who has learned to call greed, ambition, and cruelty, discipline, and indifference realism. The person who has spent the decade discovering that you can do extremely well in the world. First step that they're all zombies. Some are simply playing as zombies who go along to get along. It's a small thing in the dimension of the film, but I think it really matters to the overall rating. It matters because there must be something else going on here under the surface, where intergalactic invaders and a whole class of society can just make a chummy alliance. It's ideology, and we'll get to that in a second. But the yuppie in the film's logic is the person who has made peace with the system that Mike Davis was describing. He lives in the mirror glass tower and doesn't look down at the encampment under the freeway. He knows that the system is rigged in their favor and has decided on hold that is fine. We can feel Carpenter's rage because it's all so obvious. It's also right in front of us. We feel gaslit by the not noticing. And I think that also explains why what I've been calling an intentionally dumb film is so clever. Carpenter's strategy of critique here, as we'll see, is when it's so obvious and so dumb, make the reaction and the critique so obvious and so dumb too. Make people look in the form of a shocking, obvious, violent, funny film and a 6-minute fight scene.
Did you even train for this?
So Nala finds the sunglasses. It's his down the rabbit hole moment, brilliant in its simplicity. He is, at this point in the film, a man with nothing left to lose. His shanty town has been bulldozed by rioters. His friends are scattered or dead. He has discovered a pair of sunglasses hidden inside the wall of an abandoned church, which is the kind of thing that happens in 80s B-movies, in which the film does not feel any real need to explain. There's, resistance movement there, but we'll get to that later. But he puts the pair in his pocket. He walks out into the street trying to blend in. And after a few minutes of rolling on these, he takes them out, as you do on a sunny day, and he puts them on. What follows is one of those great, indelible sequences in the history of film. The novelist Jonathan Lethem, in his book-length study of the movie, calls it 10 minutes of cognitive dissonance, as sublime as anything in the history of film. And the reason it works, the reason it is the quote of parody with Velvet, turned into clothing for almost 40 years, including, and the ultimate irony, a campaign for president, is that Carpenter found a simple visual image that does what cultural critics have been trying to do in properties and in other forms for decades. He made ideology visible, unable to be avoided. Even a politician taking a dementia test and naming the animals can see it. It's obey, consume, marry and reproduce, stay asleep, watch TV. Joke isn't subtle. The joke is aggressively not subtle. Carpenter said that the lenses stripped the colour back off. The aliens, as he put it, have colorized us. And anyone who has seen a Coca-Cola advert knows that the adverts are trying to make you do something. The joke is, the command was already there. The lenses didn't add anything. They just remove the brilliance. They take away the smiling face and the lifestyle photography and the soft music that made it all comfortable and more easy to ignore, and they show you what was being said underneath the whole time. Which brings me reluctantly to Slavoj Žižek. You cannot make a video about They Live without bringing up Žižek. He's claimed it. The Slovenian philosopher has spent decades using the film as his primary example of how ideology works. He's written about it in his book. He's lectured on it. He's devoted the opening sequence of his and Sophie Fine's 2012 documentary, The Pervert's Guide to Ideology, to walking around on the recreated set of that heli fight in his rumpled shirt, explaining what Carpenter understood that most cultural theorists did not. And what Žižek says about sunglasses is mostly right. His point goes a little like this. Most people, when they think about ideology, think of it as a kind of lie, as propaganda perhaps, or as false consciousness if you want to get traditionally Marxist about it. I'll pass on that, but half of you will insist I do in the comments anyway. Oh, which reminds me, like, hype, and subscribe, join the Patreon, watch the ads, and bye. How Marxist of me, sorry. But the traditional propaganda style interpretation of ideology is that Capitalists are telling you something that isn't true, and your job, if you are politically awake, is to see through the lie to the reality underneath. The metaphor is one of unveiling. You strip away the deception. You see what is really there. This is pretty much the alt-right reading of the film too, even though they use it for their own perverse purposes. Zizek, though, thinks that this is getting it backwards. Ideology isn't a veil over reality for him. Ideology is a part of how reality functions. It isn't the lie you tell yourself about the world, it's the frame that makes the world feel obvious and right. It tells you what counts as success, what counts as failure, what kind of suffering matters, and what kind of suffering is just the way things are and you can ignore it. There's a great line in The Pervert's Guide that goes like this.
I've given you a choice. Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash.
I already am eating from the trash can all the time. The name of this trash can is ideology. The material force of ideology makes me not see what I'm effectively eating. It's not only our reality which enslaves us. The tragedy of our predicament when we are within ideology is that when we think that we escape it into our dreams, at that point we are within ideology.
So it's Turtles all the way down. You escape the Matrix and then wake up inside another Matrix. That's the video on ideology, so check that out if you're interested. But the glasses in Zizek's reading are not unveiling glasses. They're not showing Nada what is hidden. They're showing him the structure that has been right there the entire time, organizing what he sees, telling him how to feel about it. It's that smiling advert that was always a command, or the dollar always functioning as a god. Nada just couldn't see it before. He was playing by those rules because the color and the design and the normality of it had been doing the work of making the command invisible. Plus, the glasses hurt. They strip away the story. There's a big cost to not going with the flow. They take away one of the things that made that world livable, even as miserable as he was in it. The thing that makes everybody fine with it. That's what's stripped away, aided by TV and a ton of other instruments of power. That is what makes the sequence, I think, so devastating. It's not that Nada discovers something new, it's that he discovers something really old and obvious, something half-known and avoided, but now made unavoidable. Nobody was looking, including him, because the whole point of ideology is to make looking feel unnecessary. You don't need to know the facts or hear new arguments or perspectives, because you already know. So Zizek has been right about this for a long time. The glasses are one of the great images in cinema, what it means to actually see the structure of the world you're living in. But, if you take Zizek's reading and you run it through the rest of the film, for me something starts to feel a bit off or inconvenient. Because if the glasses just reveal the structure, and the structure is so obvious once you see it, why does the rest of the film exist? Why does Nada spend the next 40 minutes flailing about? Why does Frank refuse to put on the glasses even when his friend is begging him? Why does it take a 6-minute fight in an alley, one of the longest, strangest fight scenes in 80s cinema, before Frank agrees to look? Zizek has an answer to this, and we'll get to it in a minute, but I don't think his answer is right. So let's get to the best bit, the alley fight. If you've seen Alien, this is what you remember from it. It's terrible, but also it's great. It's just a joy to see Rowdy Roddy Piper just get to work, and Keith David is the perfect dance partner. It's modern dance, really, if you think about it. Yes, try that one out with your more pretentious friends at parties who will almost certainly hate wrestling. Well, now, with that reading, they're uncultured snobs. Ha! Take that! Oh, wait. Me. So Nada has his ideological awakening. He's spent the day on the run from the police. He's killed several aliens with a shotgun in a great bank robbery scene. He's stolen a car, and now he's standing in an alley with his best friend, sort of, Frank, holding a pair of sunglasses, asking him to put them on. And Frank says no. Nada explains. Frank says no. Nada explains again. Frank says no. Nada offers him money. Frank says no. And then Nada, and this is the moment where everything in the film turns, Nada attacks him. Swings at Frank. Frank swings back, and the two of them proceed to beat each other half to death in a back alley for 5.5 minutes, maybe 6. It is one of the strangest fight scenes in 80s cinema. It's longer than most fight scenes in films built around fighting. It was apparently rehearsed With 6 whole weeks running around as a professional wrestler, as you probably know, and he then a great dancer. After they takes their action for real. The shot at almost entirely long takes, using a way. South Park is very minute shot for shot. The episode of Kryptonite, Darren Aronofsky restaged it in The Wrestler. Almost every serious pick was written about there that's trying to explain what to see. Zizek's reading is the famous one, and it is, unculturally eloquently used. He said that I'm paraphrasing here, but sometimes I'm easy to get over this guy. In the fight illustrates the violence of ideological routine. The French refusal to put up glasses is not particularly regardless of laziness. It's an unconscious recognition of putting the fight here destroying his world. Frank knows at some level beneath conscious thought, but knows that see the truth as a influence, but it has a question of the lie. And the cover of the lie is nothing. The lie is what makes his life livable. So he finds